Lời đầu tiên xin chào các độc giả đã đến với website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com. Khi tìm đến với website rèn luyện kỹ năng, chắc hẳn bạn đang mong muốn tìm cho mình một công cụ tốt nhất trong quá trình rèn luyện kỹ năng. Kỹ năng ở đây có thể là kỹ năng lãnh đạo, kỹ năng bán hàng, kỹ năng mềm, kỹ năng sống và rất nhiều các kỹ năng khác. Thông thường khi nghĩ đến việc rèn luyện các kỹ năng như chúng tôi đã đề cập ở trên, chúng ta thường hay nghĩ đến việc tìm mua cái đầu sách hoặc tham gia các chương trình hội thảo. Nhưng trong cuộc sống bận rộn của thế kỷ 21, thời gian và tiền bạc là hai thứ luôn bị giới hạn nhiều nhất. Với sự ra đời của website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com, chúng tôi mang đến cho bạn một công cụ tốt hơn trong việc rèn luyện kỹ năng của mình, đó chính là các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng. Bạn sẽ không còn phải tốn quá nhiều thời gian để đọc sách hay tốn quá nhiều tài chính để tham gia các chương trình hội thảo. Chỉ cần bỏ DVD vào đầu máy, ngay lập tức bạn đã có thể tận hưởng những thước phim quý giá được chia sẻ từ các diễn giả nổi tiếng tại Việt Nam và trên thế giới. Website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com cung cấp đầy đủ cho bạn các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng trên nhiều lĩnh vực. Tất cả các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng của các diễn giả nước ngoài có tại website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com đều có phụ đề 100% hỗ trợ tối đa cho quý độc giả khi theo dõi. Rèn luyện kỹ năng.com cam kết chất lượng tất cả các DVD khi cung cấp cho quý khách hàng. Với hân hạnh được phục vụ cho rất nhiều các khách hàng trên cả nước. Chỉ cần click đặt hàng, trong vòng 1 đến 3 ngày, bạn đã có thể cầm sản phẩm trong tay. Rèn luyện kỹ năng hân hạnh được phục vụ quý khách.
This program is made possible by Hay House, an international publisher helping people transform their lives through books, audios, and gifts that inform, enlighten, and inspire. On the web at www.hayhouse.com.
The universe is an abundant place, and oftentimes the only thing between us and the abundance that we desire is us.
Let best-selling author Cheryl Richardson show you the path to a greater abundance of time, prosperity, energy, and passion.
And I have a very simple solution about how to create more financial abundance in your life, so pay attention.
Learn the true nature of abundance and how it can transform your life when Create an Abundant Life with Cheryl Richardson airs next.
Abundance is your birthright. And I know that the amount of abundance available to each and every one of you is limitless.
Cheryl Richardson, America's most sought-after life coach, is a New York Times best-selling author and lecturer, a master certified coach, and first president of the International Coach Federation. Cheryl has transformed the lives of millions of people around the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I am excited to talk about creating an abundant life, because most of us want abundance in one area or another of our lives. Usually, the place I hear about first is money. Most people want an abundance of money, right? Some people? Yes. Everybody's yes. Well, I want to start out by talking about why it's important to have abundance in a whole variety of areas in your life. Now, over the last 10 years, I've had the good fortune of working as a personal coach. And what that means is I've worked with clients all around the country over the phone, helping them to design the lives they most want to live, to really look at the areas of their life where they'd most want to create abundance, create a plan of action to make it happen, and then support them along the way as they're making it happen. And I've learned a lot about what it takes to create abundance. I've learned a lot about what gets in people's way when they attempt to create abundance in their lives, and I want to help those of you in this room and those of you at home overcome some of the obstacles that might get in your way when it comes to creating abundance. So, first thing I want you all to know is this. An abundant life, a truly secure life, is a life where you have an abundance of love, community, an abundance of time. Wouldn't we all love more time? Right? An abundance of space. Space around you. Do you ever feel like your life is closing in on you, that you just don't have enough space? An abundance of space is another important piece to living an abundant life. Also, having an abundance of money is absolutely a part of creating that security. And there's also things like having an abundance of resourcefulness. You know, one of the things we don't think about when we think in terms of creating abundance is we forget about our own inner skills, our sense of resourcefulness, our ability to make things happen. Actually, that's the first thing we forget about, especially when we get scared. But I guarantee you there are people here and people at home who, if you suddenly lost your job, would know exactly what you needed to do to go out and get another one. Or if you suddenly had your house burned down, you'd deal with the pain of that, but you'd also be able to pick yourself up and do something about it. So being resourceful, being able to move over obstacles in your life is also another way of having abundance in your life. During the show today, I want to focus in on 4 main areas. And that is creating an abundance of time, because that's a big one for a lot of people. I never have enough time. That's what I hear a lot. Creating an abundance of money, because we all would like to have more money, I'm sure. Creating an abundance of energy, because the truth is the human body needs energy in order to live. And if you don't have energy, you can't enjoy your time. You certainly can't spend your money, right? And the 4th one is an abundance of passion. Joy, being engaged in something that you feel passionate about in your life. So before we move to those 4 areas, I want to just say a few things about creating an abundant life. Here's a couple things you need to know. In order to create a life of abundance, you must start with a grateful heart. A grateful heart is like a magnet. It will draw toward it those things that create the gratitude in the first place. We've all heard that a lot. Be grateful, count your blessings, think abundantly. It's at the times where we feel the least abundant that we really need to stop and look at what we have to be grateful for. I remember one time I was vacationing with my husband, and I was having a really bad time. It's one of those weeks where you think, oh, I would like to just shut this week off, go to bed, wake up at the end of the week. And I remember my husband, Michael, said to me, Cheryl, I know you're having a bad time. Do me a favor, answer this question. What's really great about your life? I said, well, okay. And I started listing things off. I have a great marriage, I have my health, I have a huge family, and we all get along, and we have a great time together. I'm doing work that I loved. I mean, by the time I got to item number 20, I thought, what am I complaining about? It's so easy to forget the things that we have to be grateful for. So a grateful heart will act like a magnet. It will bring abundance into your life. The second thing we need is a strong belief, both in ourselves and a belief that there is a universal power that wants only abundance for all of us. And I deeply know that to be true. The universe is an abundant place, and oftentimes the only thing between us and the abundance that we desire is us. And so we need to develop a strong belief in our ability to create abundance in our lives, and a strong knowing that the universe is an abundant place. Now, belief isn't enough. You remember the days where, I remember when I had $500 in the bank and my rent was $650, and I was really scared. I remember it vividly. I could tell you where I was standing. I could tell you what it was like outside. I remember being really frightened about that. And in that moment, I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to pay there's no way I'm going to be able to pay my rent. And I thought, wait a minute. I'm not buying into this fear that there's no abundance. And I sat down and I wrote out a check for $5 to a charity. And when I did that, and when I put it into the envelope, I remember I said out loud, because I say a lot of things out loud, I think it gives our thoughts power. I said, I will not buy into the belief that the universe is filled with scarcity. I won't do it. And I licked the envelope, put a stamp on it, went to a mailbox, put it in, and said, that's my statement that the universe is an abundant place. 3 days later, I was called and hired to give my first big paid speech for $1,500. 3 days later. And I remember, answering the phone and thinking, oh my God. Of course, I went and immediately wrote another check out to a charity because I wanted to say thank you. But here's the thing. At that time when I was scared, people used to say to me, oh, Cheryl, you just need to think abundantly. You need to think abundantly. If you could just create an affirmation, then you'll be able to draw money into your life. Don't worry about it. Well, that sounds great. And I'm a big believer in affirmations because your beliefs are extremely important. But the third thing you need to know about creating abundance is you must marry belief with action. It wasn't that I wrote that check out for $5 and then poof, magically what appeared was a $1,500 speaking engagement. I was actively involved in marketing my business, making phone calls, doing the things that I definitely didn't want to do, going out and getting a job. I remember I finally decided, you know what? This isn't happening as quickly as I need it to be happening. I have to be financially responsible. I went out and applied for a job. When you combine the affirmation that the universe is an abundant place, or that I have what it takes to create abundance in my life, with action, that's when miracles begin to occur. So the 4 areas we're going to focus on in this program are time, energy, money, and passion. And I thought what we'd do is something a little different. I've lined up some volunteers before the program who feel blocked in some way about creating abundance in one of those areas. And what I've learned over time after working with thousands of people is that, you know, we all get stuck in the same places at one point or another. We all want the same kinds of things, and we all get stuck in the same ways. And so there's tremendous opportunity for us to learn from one another by hearing other people's stories or other people's challenges. So I want to start with time. And I'm going to ask for